Well, good morning, everybody. I hope you're all doing fantastically well. My name is Conor McGilligan. We're back here with Monday Musings. And let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. What are you musing about? What are you mulling over? I'm mulling over a few things. So stay toward the end of the video. And I'm fascinated to hear what you guys think in the comment section below. So the weekend that has just been, Leeds United have lost out 3-2 to City. The results yesterday, of which we didn't really get into yesterday on White Noise, but the results were quite mixed for Leeds. On the day, pretty decent. You look at Wolves losing out to Villa. You look at Forest losing against Brighton. You're looking at West Ham losing against Liverpool. I guess the absolute kicker was maybe on Saturday night with Fulham. Fulham are probably the team of which I've been looking at and thinking, is there a possibility that we can drag them down a little bit? And obviously, we're on 1st of December right now with how quickly this season moves. But it is the 1st of December. But they've got two massive wins in the last week. Obviously, beating Sunderland at home, of which Sunderland feel like they're just inevitable at the minute, and obviously beating Tottenham away. So that's massive, absolutely massive. And the reason I'm talking about Fulham, because you guys will say, well, there's Forest and there's West Ham. I think West Ham are probably the ones that I think we can maybe pull in. The Forest game yesterday, they were just, I thought, soundly beaten by a very good Brighton side, of which can happen to all of us. The West Ham game, in a sense, I thought they were in it for large periods, but then Paqueta being an absolute moron and getting 2 yellow cards is a positive for Leeds because he'll be out of West Ham's next game. They've still got Magassa and Freddie Potts in there and Matis Fernandes, who I think can make up that midfield quite nicely. But the reason I touch on Fulham is because I'd probably put them, strangely enough, as the three when you're looking at Forest, West Ham, and Fulham. Forest, West Ham, and Fulham. I'd probably look at them and think they're maybe the ones that we can drag in. I don't think Kevin's really hit that full speed yet. I look at Raul Jimenez and still think there's a slowing down when it comes to him. I still look at maybe the reliance on players like Harry Wilson as something of which Leeds can definitely look at and think, yeah, surely we can drag this team in, maybe with a new formation, new starters, of which there were positives towards the end of the City game. But obviously, them getting that win and back-to-back wins is huge for Fulham. Takes them to 17 points with some relatively decent games in the offing for them, apart from Man City, which is coming this week, which hopefully you will see the citizens' response there. But what does this mean with Leeds? Well, I think this week could be massive. And obviously, every week is going to be huge when it comes to the Whites. But it feels like this week in particular is really big. Now, positives for Leeds United. Moises Caicedo is going to miss the game against the Whites, which I think is massive because you're looking at they're probably the best midfielder in the Premier League up there with Declan Rice so far this season. Be interesting to see if Cole Palmer does feature because obviously that would replace that central midfield hole drastically. Obviously, two different players, one a DM/central midfielder, the other a very elegant advanced midfielder. But we know with Chelsea that they have an abundance of resources, of which we would absolutely love that they can slot into that central midfield zone. So 2 days until a massive game for the Whites and a derby of which, not a derby, but a rivalry of which Leeds have got to really tap in to that 70s mantra. We've got to tap into any time we've played Chelsea, even the past 2 or 3 years, or I should say 3 or 4 years, when Brendan Harrison scored that goal and Leeds kicked off the season against Tommy Tuchel's side with Jesse Marsh with an unbelievable 3-0 win at Ellen Road. Obviously, they came back to Ellen Road the following season, and it was like a training exercise, wasn't it? Then beating Leeds 3-0 with Mason Mount getting on the score sheet. So the musings this morning are very much of this being a really key week for Leeds United, and it's difficult for us to talk about it being a key week with the games that we have coming up and the difficulty of these games. Two teams, you've got the champions of England coming up, of which changed their fortunes round against West Ham the other day, which maybe a win is all Liverpool need and a clean sheet. But then obviously coming up against Chelsea with an excellent point up against I think the elect league winners in Arsenal yesterday. Moises Caicedo absent for a big portion of that game as well. So it's going to be an extremely tough game, but Leeds have got to tap into Ellen Road. Ellen Road's got to tap into Leeds United, and that has got to be a partnership of which gets Leeds over the edge, really, in that game. Because I was looking at the league table this morning, and with us and Burnley right now, there is a level of apathy when it comes to Burnley, which I found quite interesting looking on and speaking to a few people who I know, a level of apathy of which they're just not good enough. Their width isn't good enough. Their X factor's not there. They don't have a creative link between the midfield and the attack. But I saw a Leeds United side at the weekend that in a 3-5-2 has serious potential, serious potential. But I guess the musing is this morning is it just too late? Have we seen a Fulham win? Have we seen Forest and and Dyche, get together at almost the wrong time? Have we seen Nuno come in and make a big difference? I guess you can say yes, because I thought he picked the starting 11 well against Liverpool. I thought his subs were bang on, but he was just let down by a leader in the midfield there, which was moronic. But it feels like Nuno's made a big difference. I don't think West Ham fans are displeased at this moment in time, and I think they will continue to grow. Forest will continue to grow as well with the profiles that they've got. I mean, they were talking yesterday, Forest fans, about having Murillo out. Morato comes in, who's not great, of course, but you've still got the likes of Amari Hutchinson, who flutters in and out of that side, who they bought for 40 million quid. They've still got Chris Wood, who got plus 20 goals last season, who will be coming back into that 11 very soon. And wouldn't that be apt, everybody, if we had a 20 plus per season goal scorer coming back in, and the level of creativity that they have? But I guess this is kind of where I'm at, and I'm going to pose a question to you guys. Is it, who can we actually drag in right now? Who can we actually drag in? And I think maybe that is potentially where my optimism, which I have been optimistic this season. I think this team, in a certain way, in a specific system, is a team that can stay in the Premier League. And I think you've seen doubters, you know, turn at this moment in time. Brownie being one of them last night, who has seen what this team can be like in a 3-5-2. I just wonder if it's too late. I wonder if we're not out of it yet. You look at the league table, you'll see it at the bottom there. We are not out of it whatsoever. You've just got to look at that context, really, haven't you, when it comes to the games coming up, the teams that we can really drag in. And I think it's just really important that Leeds get something against Chelsea. And I don't know if we can go the next two games without picking anything up. I think that is something of which Leeds can't do. I think we need to go into Chelsea and need to go into Liverpool with the mindset that maybe we've got to pick up a win in one of these games right now. There is a period of which Leeds play Brentford and Palace and Sunderland back to back. That feels massive. Massive, with the likes of, after that, of Man United, Newcastle away, Liverpool away. They're all after those games. So it feels like that cluster of three games for Leeds United it's must win all over, all over it. And we've played a lot of the bottom teams now, and we are in the bottom three, so the league table doesn't lie. But it feels like Leeds have just got this absolutely monumental task ahead of them at this moment in time. Maybe it's the rain, maybe it's the fact that I'm sitting here and musing, and I've had a coffee and I've been looking at the league table and the form. I've seen Fulham's form is very decent at this moment in time. They're the ones that I thought maybe we could grapple back in. You've seen Brentford just pull away even further. Were they even in danger anyway? And you've seen two teams really in that sort of 16th, 17th zone with relegation specialists right now. So I don't know. Maybe I've woke up this morning a little bit more, and the high of the weekend, of which I actually saw the formation that I've been banging on about for the past 4 months, and we saw the manager adapt for, I don't know, adapt away from his strategy for the first time with him being Leeds United manager, really. When you look at it, Farker has always been headstrong with his tactical plan. It's worked for 90% or 70% of his time at Leeds in the Championship, but he's moved away from that now. Do I think Farker will now continue with the 3-5-2? No, I don't think that'll happen. I think his post-match conversation as well, of him, effectively saying that 3-5-2s can't work again. We did a breakdown yesterday, and 3-5-2s can't work against every team. And if 3-5-2 would work in every game, then anybody could be a Premier League manager. So I don't have any faith that he's going to continuously move to a 3-5-2. I think before with Farker, we've seen maybe a little bit of a tactical change or a personnel change, and he's reverted back very, very quickly. I just think that's the mark of the man. He's very stubborn. He's got his own ideology. I don't think it's a Premier League ideology and philosophy. I think ultimately right now, you give him credit, but I'm still of the opinion that we should have made that change a lot earlier, and to a back three specialist, of which there are a fair few out there, which we've spoken about on the channel before. But Ellen Road's got to be behind the lads. It will be, because it's been brilliant this season. Can we get something against Chelsea on our best day and them having an off day? I think so. But that 3-5-2, the unpredictability of having a 3-5-2 has to be there. Guys, let me know what you think in the comment section below. My name's Conor McGilligan, and I'll see you on the other side. Cheers.